Gosh, I'm trying to hold it in right now. The support's been overwhelming.
Tickets for Nashville this week are nearly sold out. We are calling this the Bryson effect.
I mean, with how much support we have out here, and it's just the start, that's a testament to what Live Golf is and what the Crushers are doing, what our team's doing, and what we're trying to do for Nashville and places all across the globe. So super excited for the future of Live.
It was nice to at least walk down the last few holes, or at least the last hole, knowing that it was pretty much done. It's never safe, but very proud of everybody, and of course Tiro. I mean, what a week to get his first win in a few years and win by 6 in an absolutely dominant performance the way he did. It was absolutely incredible, so I couldn't be happier for him.
Certainly with not winning for 3.5 years, you kind of naturally question if you can do it again. So I'm just proud of myself to be able to get through that and play the way I did.
Ferrall has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast. It's Ferrall on the bench, coast to coast in the biggest way possible, hanging out the bad seed, the broken, the bad apple with a bad attitude. We are live in New York City, the Big Apple. Ooh. People dressed in plastic bags, directing traffic, some kind of fashion shake-it-up shadoobie, along with the golf gangster himself, Carver High. Mafia running it with Luke, I am your father, back from the debauchery wedding on a misery Monday. The C2C lineup, Morency, a double shot from Vancouver. Mike DeCourcy of the Sporting News and Fox Sports, Big Ten Network. Plus coach James Young, talking Summer League, WNBA, Team USA, barely beat Australia today in Dubai in a tune-up for the Olympics in Paris, plus Adam Kaplan, our NFL insider, in the final hour this afternoon. Carver High, unbelievable, the Euro and Copa final. I mean, as far as the soccer went, it was just magnificent stuff. And, you know, you get the Palmer goal to tie it up. Everyone in London, everyone in Britain is going crazy. Their fans at Germany at the game were naked. They were so crazy. They were so jacked and lit. That was the greatest atmosphere. And then, of course, Spain said, enough of this. They scored again late in the 86th minute. Good night, Irene. They win it 2-1. And then Argentina with the late Martinez goal to win it 1-0 over Colombia at the Hard Rock. What a mess last night at that stadium in Miami Gardens. I've been there 1,000,000 times for games. I've never seen anything like that at that stadium. I've never seen a crowd that crazy at that stadium. I've never seen a problem once ever getting into that stadium. I have been to World Series games there, NFL games there, concerts there, and I've never had a problem. The crowd at that game was filled with animals. They were out of control. They were charging the gates. They didn't have tickets, half of them. They crashed the gates and the police. There were tons of police, but apparently not enough. They needed the National Guard because there were 80,000 fans and then some, out of control, out of their minds, lit, drunk, crazy, wild, violent. There were fights, there were arrests, there were zip ties, there were people running, people getting stomped, people getting punched, people getting kicked. They destroyed escalators. There were people crawling into vents, for Christ's sakes. I have never in my life seen anything like it. Last night I was on SportsGrid doing the Copa final with Dane, and all I know is Spittin' Speeds and I are doing it. I said, it's the running of the bulls in Pamplona. That's what it was. It was like watching people getting gorged by bulls. I thought they were animals. And you can quote me on that.
I thought, obviously, with you, the same. It was an embarrassing situation, what went on at that place. And I've seen a lot of this last night and today. Oh, the U.S., is going to host a World Cup. They're not ready to host a World Cup. They're not ready to. You mentioned it. That arena, that stadium, has hosted Super Bowls. It has hosted college football national championship games. It has hosted tons of huge games in the past. And they have never had a situation with the gates being smashed through, with everybody trying to get in. That was entirely run by the CONMEBOL, the South American Soccer Federation, just like the situation in Charlotte the other day. Look, the USA Soccer, the people that are putting on the World Cup in a couple of years, that's not the same group that's running what did the Copa here the last month. Not the same group. Security will be better. Security will be different. And this happens in other places. This happened in England at Wembley a couple years ago in that Euro final in 21. So it's happened in plenty of places around the world. It's not the first time it's happened. Unfortunately, it won't be the last time. Like you said, I don't know why people can't just go to the soccer game and not act like animals. I just don't understand why that can't be the case. But sure enough, it wasn't. And I'll just say this at the end too: Spain always wins. Spain always wins. Spain always wins.
Lose.
Like, it's just like England thought when they leveled that game at 1 that they were going to get it. That this was finally time. We're finally going to bring it home. All that stuff. And then 86th minute, boom. They were never coming back from that, although they had a hell of a chance when Almo cleared that ball off the goal line in the final moments. I mean, that was nuts.
Stick save and a beauty with his head.
So, yeah, our month of soccer comes to an end, Scotty, with Spain and Argentina both getting those victories.
Mike, what do you think the parking lot and the outskirts of that stadium were like last night after Colombia lost?
I can't imagine.
Because they don't like losing.
Imagine.
And
they were mad before the game. They were mad before the game. I can't even imagine what was going on afterwards and some of the scenes that probably took place, because there was a lot of upset people just getting into the place. So they must have really been upset leaving it after a loss, that's for sure.
And
look, that game
Argentine
sucked, by the way. I just want to tell you, that game sucked. There was absolutely no juice in that game. It was 0-0. And look, there are exciting 0-0 games. That was not one of them. I didn't think that was a fun game to watch at all.
Did you think that, because, in my opinion, Argentine fans are, they don't like the Colombians, and they had to have rubbed it in their face when it was over, leaving the stadium, yelling things. Everybody's drunk, and these Colombians aren't having any of it. They're not having someone rub it in their face or make fun of them that they lost or you suck or 28 in a row, but you lost to us the first time and you lost to us again. So you can win all the games you want, but you can't beat us. That's all it takes is some guy opening his mouth. I saw before the game there were I watched Univision, right? So I was watching it, and I said to Spittin', I said, I didn't understand a word of it. I took 5 years of Spanish, but I watched it anyway to see what it was like. And they were arguing and screaming and yelling at each other in a relatively friendly way before the game,
Yeah.
Blah, 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 and then the other one's like, nah, blah, 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 and little kids were arguing back and forth, and everyone was arguing. But after you have 40 beers and you lose the Copa final, it's a different kind of arguing. I won't argue with you that about the game. I thought it was it had its moments, but when Messi went out, it bummed me out. It was strange to see him over there crying and everything else. It shows you how invested they are in their in their soccer, in their team, that's all they care about is soccer. They don't care about anything else. That guy was crying because he felt he was letting his teammates down. Meanwhile, he's the greatest player that's ever lived for them, including Diego Maradona. He got the World Cup done. He's won back-to-back Copas. And then all they want to talk about is he going to retire instead of, let's just enjoy the moment that he's still playing. Or, is he going to play in 2 years? Who knows? Let's just see what happens. But he gets injured a lot now, if you've noticed. Yes. He's been injured in Miami, and now he's injured in this thing. He was injured the whole tournament.
Injured the whole tournament. And listen, he's getting up there. He's played a lot of soccer. Think about this. He started playing professionally when he was like 16 years old. He's played a lot more than anybody else, so it's understandable. So we have all of that. We have a huge weekend at the golf. Bobby Mack and Sergio both coming through for me yesterday. We will talk about that. USA does not cover that fat piece against the Aussies in Abu Dhabi a couple of hours ago. MLB hits the All-Star break. We've got the Home Run Derby tonight. In Arlington, it'll be Corbin Burns against Skeens tomorrow as the starting pitchers in the game. We actually have a very busy Monday here to start this week off.
Let's go.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It is Canada. Canada is one of those teams that's the darling of the tournament right now. They're still 9-1.
To win a tournament, or even to advance far into a tournament like this, you need a bit of good fortune. And it doesn't matter if you're getting the good fortune that Canada has, where they played 2 matches where they were up a man, or you had the good fortune of Argentina, who's one of the best teams in the world, who just got on the good side of the draw.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds. Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
It's the BetMGM offer of the week. Get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. For all the games in the NBA Finals. Set your picks and shoot your shot. And turn any game into a must-watch. Download the BetMGM app, and it's on.
You can get Sports Rage weeknights at 10 East on everything, on all of our streaming outlets, the OTTs, all of our TV stations and relations and partners that we have there. It's literally everywhere. It's on new TVs like Samsung, Vizio, LG TVs. Just search SportsGrid. You're golden. You'll find Sports Rage. It's on all of the radio, SportsGrid Radio, 1090 ESPN in San Diego near Tijuana. Do you wanna? Of course, from Baja to the Canadian Rockies, all over the West Coast on 1090 The Big Stick out of Rosarito, Mexico. And, of course, Sports Byline USA out of San Francisco. Deepak holding it down on satellite radio, Sirius XM channel 159. Every night, Monday through Friday, it's Morency, and we get him every day on Coast to Coast for a double shot. What was your thoughts, Gabe, on the scene before that game at Hard Rock, the destruction of that stadium? They ruined a bunch of escalators. They tore down a bunch of fences. They jumped into air conditioning vents and broke those. I saw my favorite scene was a guy, and I didn't mention this to Carver High. My favorite scene of the whole thing was watching this guy run, because I used to, back in the day, like at the World Series, we'd be out on those loops.
The guy running up the concourse with the cops chasing.
He ran up the
loop.
I
know that. I know that thing there.
And the cops were chasing him, and then he smashed into people like a bad scene in a movie, and it tripped him up. And then they landed on top of, like 10 cops landed on top of him. And then you look over to the left, and there's like 14 people zip-tied and sitting on their ass arrested by the police. It was unbelievable.
It was quite the scene, bro. That was laugh out loud funny. And, you know, we're going to show some of the clips later tonight on Sports Rage, but the vent, Scott, is brilliant, isn't it? These crazy son of a bitches outside the stadium looked and saw these big metal vents. God knows where they lead to. Maybe there's a fan that's going to chop your head off in there, Scott. They said, you know what? This is the way in the stadium. And you saw it was like women and children.
Women
like
and
people
children.
sneaking across, like they were pushing kids in. All right, you go. All right, come on, honey. You're next. They're throwing them in the vent.
Right.
Dude, the cops were overwhelmed, Scott. And we're talking about Miami cops, too. Their jaws were just like, they were watching. And what are they going to do? What are they going to do? There was a video. There's like a bunch of cops, and the cops are getting mad. And I think the cops realized these people don't care you're getting mad, bro. Like, they don't care. And they're going to run you over. And they did. They just, boom. And the Miami police were like, oh, my God. They fell over in the crowd. It was nuts. The scene was nuts. And I said it at the top, Scott, you know, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about the Euros. The Euros is like played in the, you know what I mean? Might as well be played in Switzerland, all right? The field is gold plated. You know what I'm saying? Copa is in the hood. Like, we're going to sense, like, this is hood type stuff. You saw it on the pitch. You see it in the stands with the emotion. We should note, though, no violence between the Argentinian and the Colombian fans at all. They were all mixed together. They were smiling and partying and stuff. It was a riot to get in, but they didn't fight. There were fights, right? Obviously, there's going to be fights, but there were, like, Colombian dudes fighting with each other and stuff outside after. So, but I just want to note that it didn't get, like, because a lot of people are like, there's no way in hell this game doesn't end in a riot, right?
Right.
But it didn't. No, the fans were cool with each other on the way out. But overall, and around America, Scott, I was watching KTLA this morning, and they're like, the damage, this is a warning for the World Cup coming here. They were showing Pico Boulevard, nothing but Modelos everywhere, like stabbings. And like, there was a massive brawl last night in L.A. on Pico at a Colombian restaurant after the game. They were going at it in London. So, like, it was a global thing. And Scott, the world, this is just a test. I think, like, law enforcement in the U.S., like, realizes now, okay, this isn't a Raider game. This isn't a Dolphin game. This is different. All right? And we better be ready.
They need the National Guard in Miami for the World Cup. Honestly. I mean,
you're going to have the British dudes, bro. They're going to be, like, they're going to be drinking hard.
So I'm at a Steeler game, right? And like going into that Heinz before it became Acusure, they ruined it, the big ketchup bottle. So I'm a season ticket holder, and back in the day, we'd go and you'd show up for the game. And every time you go to that stadium, they have like 4 entrances in the corners, and they're brutal to get into. And I'm standing there with like my buddy and my son, and I'm like, Oh my God, how long
It's cold out.
am I
You're
gonna
standing there
stand
trying to
here?
get in.
I'm gonna stand it. Meanwhile, no one's fighting, no one's shoving, no one. People are just standing there going, "Here we go, Steelers!" And I'm sitting there thinking, last night I looked at that scene an hour before that game, and I thought of myself in Pittsburgh, just standing there mellow. And I looked at this scene, and everyone's in like yellow and light blue shirts, and there must have been 100,000 people trying to get into those games.
People just decided, Scott, I don't have a ticket, but I'm going to the game anyways. I'm going to the game anyways. That's what they decided. We don't have tickets. We don't care. I saw a thing. There was a guy that tweeted, he posted a picture of himself, bro. He's squeezed up way at the top. And he goes, my seat's down there, but there's not a hope in hell I can even. He goes, they're not checking tickets. You're just on your own when you get into the stadium.
Right.
Like there was no aisles. Like they were literally like they took over the aisles.
They were walking around busting people, checking tickets to see if you
Yeah,
had
yeah, yeah.
How about this? Can you imagine? Dane Martinez said this last night. He's like, can you imagine asking your girlfriend to go to the Copa final and you know you don't have tickets? You're like, yeah, we don't have tickets, but I'm gonna stuff you in an air conditioning vent and we're gonna make love after the game out in my car. You and me.
And we're
baby.
gonna see Messi, baby.
Here,
it just means more. Copa America.
Into this air conditioning vent. Here,
There
I
was
got
some
you,
hot,
baby. I'm gonna
there was some
shove you
hot
in there.
senoritas in the stands last night. I'll tell you that.
I saw some nudity too, and it was
Yeah, yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
Carver, I said the game sucked.
When it comes to betting on sports, injuries matter, and Sports Injury Central has you covered all year long with expert injury analysis and injury-based picks for the NFL, NBA, and MLB. Our former pro sports doctors have unmatched experience to analyze every injury so you know the impact of the player, team, and their upcoming matchup. Whether it's articles, podcasts, player insights, or our patented injury scores, Sports Injury Central will help you keep up with your fantasy team and make more informed wagers. So make sure you follow Sports Injury Central and gain an edge at sixscore.com.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, we're talking to Morency. Catch Sports Rage tonight at 10 on everything. So, and by the way, check out this SportsGrid live on X. You can watch us right on X now. Live.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's streaming right on there. So, I mean, we're like, we're literally like Tucker Carlson now, apparently. We got our own channel on there, too.
Yeah. You, me, Tucker, and Don Lemon.
Yeah. And so who do you like tonight in the home run derby? That's, I guess, well, there are 6 NBA Summer League games that all start at 6 East. They go 6, 6:30, 8, 8:30, 10, 10:30 all night on both spots, the Thomas and Hack and the Cox Pavilion in Sin City. Kind of wish they had games on all day instead of just against each other by a half hour all night. That kind of sucks.
It doesn't make sense. You're right. It's Vegas Summer League. Normally, it's all day long. Put a couple of games on during the day for the tourists that are there. Just, hey, let's go to the game. It's on 11 in the morning after breakfast or whatnot. Like,
let's go.
Bizarre. Very bizarre that they did this with the NBA Summer League. As far as the home run derby tonight is concerned, listen, we know Alonso wants to win. The guy loves this. He likes competing in it. It's his 5th time competing in it. He's won twice before already. So he takes it seriously. I saw an interesting stat, Scott. I know we're getting stupid here about the home run derby, but nobody 29 years or old has won since 2015. Younger guys tend to win this. You get tired as it goes on. All right, so just something to throw out there. So is Alonso, will it catch up to him? For betting purposes, it's kind of boring to say, well, Alonso's the play, and it's not like he's a lock, right? I think Garcia at plus 500 was sort of enticing. You know, it's at home. He knows the ballpark. But Teoscar Hernandez catches my eye, Scott. He's he's been hot the last couple of years. The guy smokes the ball. And I was reading some previews about this. They're like, Teoscar is good value. And, yeah, he hits a lot of home runs, but I don't like his launch angle. They're comparing his launch angle. I don't care about your launch angle, bro. I don't care. Does the ball go over the wall?
Yeah.
And at those 10 to 12 to 1 odds, Scott, why not Teoscar? He can compete with any of these guys. He gets hot, like at those numbers, and we can put ourselves, he can take someone else as it goes on. But when it's all said and done, Scott, I'm going to go Teoscar Hernandez and Gunnar Henderson. So give me like a middle of the pack plus 500 and a nice 10, 12 to 1 there.
I like Gunnar. I'm with Gunnar. I think Carver High was on Bobby Witt and Teoscar. And I said, when he said, I think it was Friday, he said it, I said, I like Teoscar. A couple silver sluggers. Yep. This guy, I think he's been the best thing that's happened to the Dodgers, your team this year. I thought his injection into that lineup has been huge for them. And not just that, Scott, with Betts out of the lineup.
You know what? And this would surprise people. He's a great, leader. Like, basically, Teoscar Hernandez has taken, all the younger Dominican guys and stuff and rookies under his wing. Like, he takes them out to dinner when they're slumping. He goes, hey, listen, this is what you got to do. Yeah, down to Pico to watch the Colombia match. I think the Dodgers stay away from Pico.
Do you like
I think Ohtani's down there.
Do you like watching the home run derby? Do you get into it?
Yeah, I don't mind it. I like it. You know what I mean? I like what they've done, Scott. Years ago, I used to kind of I thought it was annoying. It was just 5 hours of Chris Berman yelling back, and it took forever, and it was all right. They tightened it up once years ago when it was in Cincinnati because it was raining. They were like, we don't have a choice. We got to hurry it up. And then they stuck with it. This year, they're tightening it up even more. It's going to be even quicker now. And no more head-to-head guys in the first 8. Well, I always thought that was stupid, Scott. One guy hits 30 home runs. The other guy he goes against hits 32 home runs, but then one guy gets eliminated at 30, and then the next guy hits 24 and advances because it was a head-to-head, right? So now it's not head-to-head anymore, guys. It's just 1 through 8, and then it'll be head-to-head when they get to the final 4 after. So I do enjoy it, although I don't want it. It's taken over from the slam dunk contest, Scott, but you notice this year a lot of stars aren't doing it, and I don't want it to turn into this. I want to see Judge. I want to see Ohtani. I want to see these guys participate in this.
Yeah, I think another guy that can really rake is Ozuna. I think he hits bombs.
Yes.
So I kind of have a feeling about him, but I like your picks. I like
He's got
Carver
short
High's
odds,
picks.
though.
Yeah, short odds, but he's such a badass. And like you said, Alonso has won it before. We'll see if he can do it again, and his plan is to donate a ton of it to charity if he wins again. We'll see. I think you're right, though. I think it'll be someone younger that has the stamina to keep jacking the ball out of the ballpark, and that ballpark is no joke. So it should be awesome. Enjoy the home run derby. We'll see you tonight on SportsGrid.
one of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
You're in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta. It's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have Live.
It's very exciting, and really, if there was ever a place to get my first win, I feel like this would be the perfect week.
I feel like when it's this windy, this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
What the heck course were you playing today?
I don't know.
It's brutal out there.
It is brutal. I don't know. I just made everything I looked at, Jerry. You have those days. I suppose this was one of those days for me, so I relished it. I really enjoyed it. Every time I stood over a putt, just felt like I could make it, and you don't get days like that too often, or certainly I don't. So, I relished in it, and I managed to hit a lot of good shots as well. So it was a special day.
Is a legendary writer with the Sporting News. He's very popular. He's on Fox Sports. He does college basketball. He's on Big Ten Network. He's on SportsGrid. He's everywhere. He's unavoidable. And he's here today coming off the Euros and the Copa, both finals on Sunday. We've talked about that mob scene down at Hard Rock in Miami. And, Carver High brought up, Mike, that it was not run by people in Miami. It was not run by the people that are going to run the World Cup. It was run by entirely different people. What a disaster that was before that game last night, and what they did to that stadium, the gates, the escalators, the cops, to each other. It was just a disaster of epic proportions. And then, Carver High said he thought the game was bad. He didn't think it was a good, 0-0 game the whole way. And then you get the late goal by Martinez. I wanted to know what your impressions were of the whole evening. And then, did you think the Spain game with England was better?
Well, I do think that the Spain-England game was a better game, yes. There was a lot more activity, although I thought that England blew it by turtling, as we call it in American sports, basically going into a shell and defending. Once they tied the game, they just completely abandoned any hope, any plan to try to control the football, and just went ahead and maybe played for extra time or penalties or maybe a quick counter or something like that. And it turned out to be disastrous. It was a terrible decision. It didn't work for them in 2021. Against Italy when they scored early with Luke Shaw, and then it didn't work at all on Sunday. So England blew it, a great chance they had to win it against what was, on the whole, a superior team. Spain had itself figured out a lot better than England, but there's not a great excuse for that because England's got some outstanding players, and I did not think that they did a great job other than in getting to the final. They did not play great in any game through the course of the tournament. The Copa America tournament was run by the South American Confederation because they wanted the money. When it was here in 2016, a series of events led to the United States Soccer Federation basically running the tournament. And they made a lot of money on it, around $75 million, according to my friend Jeff Carlisle of ESPN. And so CONMEBOL, the South American Confederation, wanted that money. And so they decided to basically play a road game, and they were not prepared for any element of it. They did a horrible job in staging the tournament here. If I were the United States, I would say that tournament is never coming back here unless we run it. We'll play in it if you want us. It's good for the United States to play against that competition, but it should never step foot on these shores again unless the United States Soccer Federation is running it, because it was an absolute disaster from the standpoint of the playing surfaces, the standpoint of the officiating. Nothing about this went well. And then Sunday was an embarrassment to have the gate stampeded in that way, people crawling through air ducts and over fences, and no apparent plan for any of that. It happened at Euro 2021 in England. It happened at the Champions League final in Paris in 2022. So this isn't a new phenomenon, and they were not prepared for it.
What is wrong with people? Like, I don't understand. Like, I was just telling the story to Gabe that I go to Steeler games, and they have a real bad entrance problem there. Like, they have like 4 entrances, and before Steeler games, there's a line as long as Haiti to get into that stadium, and you just stand there. And it's a crush of people, but they don't get crazy. They don't get violent. They just stand there, and you wait for an hour to get in. And if you don't get in and out of that stadium early at the beginning and early at the end, you're doomed. And if you've ever seen how they let it out into the north side of Pittsburgh, there's people walking down the streets along the river, literally, 40,000 people. Just that's half of the people that aren't in cars. And I've never seen violence. I've just seen a lot of people, walking behind people, and you can't get around anybody. You just have to do it. Last night I saw, that was scary. I called it the running of the bulls. It was, you could have been stomped to death.
Oh, absolutely. It was very frightening. But what you had was people who did not have tickets trying to get in without having tickets. And you don't see that a lot at American football games. You don't often see it at soccer games here either. But a big event like this, people who weren't ticketed wanted to try to get in, and many of them were successful. But you plan for that. You know this, Scott. You go to the Super Bowl, you can't get within a mile of the place unless you're ticketed or credentialed. They won't let you through. They put up perimeters. And that happens at the World Cup, too. When I went in 2006 with my wife to Germany, to Kaiserslautern for the game between the United States and Italy, we were not permitted into the area where the stadium was until we showed the ticket that would ultimately get us in the game. That's how you plan for these things. And CONMEBOL did not plan for the possibility, even though, as I said, something very similar happened at the Euro 2021 final. It was technically the Euro 2020 tournament, but it was in 21. And then it happened again in Paris with the UEFA Champions League final between Liverpool and Real Madrid. It happens from time to time, and you have to be prepared for that, and you have to set up those perimeters so that no one who doesn't have tickets can get near. And then the people who do have tickets get through the perimeter, and then ultimately they enter the stadium safely and easily. It happens at the Super Bowl every year,
right?
And it happens at a lot of other events that are big ticket items that people think the only way I'm getting in there is if I can find a way to squeeze in. It's obviously theft. I mean, that's what it is. Explaining why people try to steal some games and don't try to steal others is kind of hard to do. But you have to be prepared for the fact that this is a massive event with Messi playing, and with a large crush of fans likely, and you have to be prepared for keeping them out. And there's almost no better place to do that than Hard Rock Stadium, because there's ultimately nothing around it except highways and space. So you could easily have prevented this.
So let me ask you, I got respectfully 1:45 seconds. I've been to 4 Olympics. I'm sure you've been to an Olympics, and you've been to the World Cup. Which one did you like better as an experience? And two, did you catch the USA struggle with Australia today?
Yes, I've been to 2 Olympics, and I the reason I liked the World Cup better is because I got assigned to cover boxing in both the Olympics, so I barely got to see anything else. I treasure my experience at Barcelona, Atlanta, but it wasn't the same as being at the Olympics, really. So the World Cup I went to see soccer, and I got to see soccer. So that was the winner in that debate. But I did sit to see the United States play Australia, and I have grave concerns about Joel Embiid's fitness to help the United States in this tournament. He does not look good. He does not look sharp. Maybe having another 3-4 exhibition games and practice time gets him ready to go, but he doesn't look like he's in any kind of basketball shape to help the United States in what's an obviously competitive tournament. Hey, Jock Landale handed him his jock today. Jock Landale, really fine college player. Good, solid guy to have around on your team, but not exactly Wilt Chamberlain, right?
Yeah, no doubt. And they won by whatever it was, 6 points. They won the Canada game, I think, by 14. So they're still going to play in London before they go to Paris. We'll see if they get their act together. I think you're right about Embiid, certainly. I've been to 4 Olympic games, and it was crazy. My favorite was Athens. I went to the Olympics in Athens, so I loved it. I went with my dad. Mike, great stuff. Thanks. We'll see you again.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta, it's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50-year-old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have Live. It's very exciting, and really, if there was ever a place to get my first win, I feel like this would be the perfect week.
This wind at this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
What the heck course were you playing today?
I don't know.
It's brutal out there.
It is brutal. I don't know. I just made everything I looked at, Jerry. You have those days. I suppose this was one of those days for me, so I relish it. I really enjoyed it. Every time I stood over a putt, just felt like I could make it, and you don't get days like that too often, or certainly I don't. So, I relished in it, and I managed to hit a lot of good shots as well. So it was a special day.
BetMGM's first bet offer is on the table again, the $1,500. How about this? You can bet up to $1,500. They're going to give you $1,500 back in bonus bets if your bet loses. How do you do it? Download the BetMGM mobile app on iOS or Android. That gets you started. Or go to BetMGM.com. It's that simple. Sign up, deposit at least $10 into your account. Make a bet, your first bet, and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if the bet loses. So if the bet does lose, your bonus bets are going to be available once the initial wager is settled. So if you bet $750 and you lose, they'll give you $750. You bet $1,000, you lose, you're getting $1,000. You bet $1,500, up to $1,500, they're giving you $1,500 back in bonus bets. You're gonna love it, and you're gonna love the BetMGM mobile app. Check it out for details at betmgm.com. All right, Carver High, you know you love that first bet $1,500, but we continue on talking about the Euro final.
Yeah, let's put the ribbon on this and be done with it for the summer, Scotty. Both of these before we move on to the baseball and the golf and everything else that's going to get us through this week. Spain defeats England 2-1. Of course, England got the equalizer from Cole Palmer in the 73rd minute. Everybody was going nuts, as you said, in England and everywhere else, thinking that it was finally maybe going to come home, but no. 86th minute on Fox yesterday.
Produced shortly on the upper bar with the layoff. Right across the face of goal, and there it is! Spain grab a winner. It's Oyarzabal, who might just have clinched the crown for Spain.
He did. He was onside. It was a brilliant feed and a brilliant goal. I thought they caught England sleeping and burned them. And as we like to say on Coast to Coast, Spain never loses.
Spain never loses, and they do it again. European championship for them, and that's with a very young team. Very young team. They were able to win this Euros with. So we'll see. I'm sure they're going to be a problem for everybody for a while in these next few competitions the next few years. On the Copa side of things, of course, we know Argentina over Colombia 1-0, 0-0 into extra time. Of course, Messi's out at this point, left the game in around the 65th minute with the ankle injury he suffered in the first half. Then Lautaro Martinez giving Argentina the lead for good.
Still very wet grass. Lo Celso, Lautaro Martinez!
Yeah, it was a beautiful goal. And then he ran around the back of the net, around the corner of the stadium and out so everyone could adore him. He had more goals than anyone in the tournament. And also, Spittin' Speeds, Dane Martinez called it before the game. He said, watch out for Martinez. He scores the most goals. Messi leaves him beauties all the time for him to kick into the back of the net. It wasn't Messi, but it was Martinez who won it for Argentina.
He certainly did. So 1-0 for them, and they snapped that 28-game unbeaten streak for Colombia in that match as well. Just unlucky. Rodriguez from Colombia did win the player of the tournament. That was a tough scene. It was almost like McDavid with the Stanley Cup, Scott. He had to go out there and get that trophy after they won in a losing effort. That's not fun when you lose and you still win the most valuable player. I'm sure he rather would have left. Hard Rock Stadium in Miami gets destroyed. We've talked about that a lot. The fans crushing the gate. I now have for you the next major tournament, of course, is going to be the World Cup. Now, 2 years from now, summer of 2026, here in the States. Brazil, Scotty. Brazil and France, both at 6-1, are the favorites. Neither of them played yesterday, by the way. Spain at plus 650, England at 7-1, Argentina 8-1, Germany 9-1. The favorites for the World Cup here 2 years from now.
Yeah, I'll take Spain. They never lose.
Spain never loses. The United States are 40-1, of course, as the hosts.
So at 40-1, I want to hear people. Am I going to get another dousing of how great American soccer is? Honestly, 40-1, like they have no chance. They have no chance.
You would think.
Not at all.
No chance. No chance. I agree with you. Canada.
The pack that you just gave me, that 6-pack, that's it. It's coming from that group right there. There's going to be any surprises.
I agree with you because it usually always comes from that group. And there's like another 2 6-packs between them and the United States, who I just gave you at 40. Like, I didn't even give you Portugal, Netherlands, Uruguay, Italy, Colombia, Belgium, like all those teams that are between that top 6-pack and the United States, and they're all better. And in fact, there's teams below them, Like Switzerland is 60. Like, I think Switzerland, if they played today, would beat the United States in a match. Austria, Senegal, Denmark, Croatia, all these teams, they could beat the U.S. any day if they played in a major competition. So that's the one thing you have. Canada's 100-1. Did you see Canada almost win that third place game on Saturday night where they gave up the goal to Uruguay in the last minute?
I didn't.
They almost won the third place. I was on. You did last night with In Game Live. Me and the Prime Minister had Saturday night during that third place game for Canada and Uruguay. And the Prime Minister was going nuts. Looked like Canada was going to get third place in the Copa. And then Uruguay snatched it from them. Luis Suarez in the final minute tied it, and then Uruguay won in kicks right after that to take the third place.
Is
so
that
was
right?
just
I swear to God, I didn't even know that they played. Like, I knew there was a consolation game, and it mattered so little to me that I forgot from Friday to Saturday that they were going to play the consolation game that I didn't care about to begin with. There's nothing like finishing third or fourth or fifth in something and thinking you're cool.
As I said to you Friday, I'm stunned they even play a third place game in the Copa America. It's stunning to me. I don't even think you should play one in the World Cup anymore. I don't think you need a third place game.
I don't either.
I think Olympics is the only thing. Gold, silver, bronze. I get it. You want to give out a bronze medal. You play a bronze medal game in that, but who cares? We'll come back. A lot of baseball to get to as we hit the All-Star break.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta. It's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50-year-old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have Live.
It's very exciting, and really, if there was ever a place to get my first win, I feel like this would be the perfect week.
This wind at this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
What the heck course were you playing today?
I don't know.
It's brutal out there.
It is brutal. I don't know. I just made everything I looked at, Jerry. You have those days. I suppose this was one of those days for me, so I relished it. I really enjoyed it. Every time I stood over a putt, just felt like I could make it, and you don't get days like that too often, or certainly I don't. So, I relished in it, and I managed to hit a lot of good shots as well. So it was a special day.
Baseball is on deck now. Believe it or not, we're going to talk all about what went down in the final day before the break and the All-Star game tomorrow night at Globe Life. Home Run Derby tonight.
Home Run Derby tonight, indeed. We got a lot to do with that, but let's start with yesterday first. The Yankees, Scotty, were looking for a sweep of the Orioles to finish off the first half in Baltimore. In fact, after a Ben Rice-Aroni home run in the top of the ninth, gave them a lead. It looked like that was exactly what they were going to do. Did not go well at all in the bottom of the 9th inning. You had a big error by Volpe at short, which set up one run, and then you had this with the Orioles down 1 and Cedric Mullins at the plate, a very big no-no from Alex Verdugo in left field on Roku.
Play Holmes. Mullins to left. Verdugo started in, and the Orioles are going to win it. Oh, my! Welcome to Club Sid.
They won the series at least, and they haven't been winning at all. So the fact that they're the first team to win a series from the Orioles in the East. So, Baltimore hasn't been playing well. The Cubs swept them, and then the Yankees took the series. So I really didn't, they're not going to win every day. We know that. So it was just a dirty way to lose. But they did turn things back on. I mean, they had Judge and Soto hitting home runs on Saturday. Judge with number 34. So I really didn't care that much that they blew the game.
Yeah, I think it's more like you said. If you would have told you Friday afternoon they're going to take 2 out of 3 this weekend, I think people would have been happy. I think it's that they had a 2-run lead going into the bottom of the 9th for the sweep, and it was mental errors that prevented a win. I think that's probably what upsets people. You mentioned Judge with the 34th homer. That's the most by a Yankee before the All-Star break. Here's Aaron Boone. Feels pretty good as well about the team going into the break after this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, that's a killer, right? I mean, let's acknowledge that. And it's been a rough, several weeks here for us. Acknowledge that. The reality is from the last couple of games in Tampa into here, feel like we're competing our asses off and starting to turn the corner and see the signs we want to see as we turn this thing around. While acknowledging that, the other reality is we're in a great spot. I mean, we're 100-ish games in, and because of the first half, even through some rough stretches, which we acknowledge, like it's all right there in front of us. We got the pen. We get to write this amazing script, and that's because we've put ourselves in that position.
Yeah, look, you can't argue with where they are in terms of the standings. So now they got to go out and produce. They got to go out and win. They can't play like they did over the last month again, or they'll be toast.
They will be toast indeed. That's for sure. They go in 1 game back of the Orioles in the AL East. The Yankees also are not going to ask Soto to rest his injured hand over the All-Star break. I don't understand why. Everyone else is sitting. Devers is sitting. Altuve's sitting. All these other guys with
There's nothing
little
wrong
injuries.
with those guys.
Yeah, they played yesterday. It's like
They were hitting home runs this weekend, both of them.
They have minor creaky injuries, just like Soto. I wouldn't have had a problem if they told Soto just calm down this week. But Soto will be there, and he'll be playing in Arlington. Red Sox did beat the Royals 5-4. They're only 4.5 games back in the East. I'll show you that in a moment. The Royals did get Hunter Harvey, Double H, from the Nationals over the weekend as well. A's beat the Phillies 18-3. Let's fit this one in. Trey Turner actually homered again. He's been red hot for the Phillies, but the problem is, Scotty, the A's hit 8 homers themselves in Philadelphia yesterday, including 3 by Lawrence Butler. The Butler did it on NBC Sports California.
It has been their calling card. Is he going to make it 3? Is he going to make it 3? Lawrence Butler's second deck. He has announced himself with authority today.
Yeah, you hit 3 home runs. Hello. Most people never heard of him.
Lawrence Butler. Rooker had 2 homers for the A's as well. Bryce Harper hit a homer against them on Saturday. He has now homered against every team in the majors after homering against Oakland. So good for Bryce, who, of course, will be in the mix in Arlington tomorrow night as well.
Listen, I'm just going to say this. I don't think, to be honest with you, I don't think Devers and Altuve want to be in the All-Star game at all. There's nothing wrong with it. When you're hitting home runs over the weekend, don't tell me you want to go play in the All-Star game.